Hello there. Good morning from here. If it's good afternoon over there, or good evening. Okay, welcome to this Photoshop Basics. I decided to give this out free for the month of May. Maybe after May, it may not be free. Okay, so but for now, just enjoy it while it lasts. Alright, so it's the basics of Photoshop, and I want to do my best to come down to the level where I think, even if you're new to design, you could also understand. Okay, so it's just the basics, but we have decided to segment it into different topics. So for today, we'll just be talking about the interface of Photoshop. So it's just the Photoshop interface, and let's get familiar with it. Of course, Photoshop interface scares people. Okay, but if you have this Photoshop, like my version 2022, Photoshop 2022, which I recommend, but if you don't have, you can use 2018 and above. I suggest, and I strongly suggest, that you use 2018 and above. But for this tutorial, I'm using 2022, so you might see some things very different in your own. You can please drop a comment if you have questions. If you also want to talk to me directly, I'll leave my number on the screen to flash on the screen. All right, so please, that's my WhatsApp number. Please bear with me in case we're not having something similar. I always like to be on the latest 2022, so I like Photoshop 2022 so much. All right, so let's get creative now. First of all, you be greeted with this interface, and I wanted to say earlier that if you're using a lower version, the interface can bore you, can scare you away. Yeah, but here we're having something very cool to start with first, and I try to wipe off my recent works. Otherwise, you'll be seeing some of my jobs. So I wiped it off so that perhaps you just installed it, you can have it look like my own. And if you need the Photoshop, you can definitely comment below. I'll give you the link where you can download it, all the versions I recommend. Okay, so straight to it. What we have here is create new. Over here we have create new, and we have open. Create new is when we want to have something to work on, and so we have to create a new document or a new artboard to start with. Open is if we have an existing, so we can open the existing work. Okay, but we have the menus here, and the first menu is the file menu. If you select it, you also see that we can reach out. We can also get the new button from there too. One thing you have to understand in Photoshop is Photoshop can have 3 to 5 ways of doing the same thing. So we can also have get to click new or shortcut Control N. I recommend shortcuts very well. Okay, we have other things there, but we are just concerned with the new. So let's just select new. And when we select new, we are greeted with this dialog box. This dialog box shows us many things, but don't get scared. It's just one of the things you need to set before you go into Photoshop and start designing. And so like this is the recent tab. You have saved tab, you have photo, print, and art illustrations, continue like that. But for me, because I've been using it, you can see all the custom I have been consistently using. Okay, just maybe on rare occasions I use A4 or A5. Okay, but in your own you might not see anything on the recent because you've not started anything yet, because maybe you installed it new, or if you've been using Photoshop before, you could definitely see something there. But for now, I'll go for the print. Let's assume everybody is going to be a designer who will definitely print. So let's go for the print. On the print area, you will find the A4, the legal, the letter, different paper sizes, and just for the sake of this tutorial, let's use A5, or better off A6, something very small. Okay, so here this is the details of what we select. If we select A5, we get a different feature. If we select A4, we get a different feature. So let's select A6, and you will have a feature here. So here you should give it a name. That's what is expected. Give it a name. You can give it a name to start, or when you have already started, you can also give it a name. So let's call it practice class 1. Okay, so we can also come here, you find the width, which is the dimension of this size we chose, A6 105 by 148, and it's millimeters. We can change it to inches. I like to work with inches a lot, but you also have picas, points, centimeters, and pixels there, but I prefer to work with inches. Please stay away from pixels for beginners. Stay away from pixels, warning. All right, so orientation, we can change the orientation to be landscape or portrait. Okay, we can also check the artboards. I will tell you what that means in the tutorial, but let's just check it for now. Then the resolution, of course, this is the most vital thing. After all the dimensions, this is the most vital thing. In fact, I think this is the most vital thing even before the dimension. The resolution matters a lot. Okay, if you're using a very fast system, very good system, you might want to leave it at 300 as the minimum and somewhere around 400 as maximum. Okay, but if you are using a low system, you could leave it at 200. 200 is the minimum. But let me just give you one something that happened to me. Like I think it was 2018. That's about 4 years ago, where I wanted to learn Photoshop, and I was greeted with this same, panel, and what I saw there was 72. So I just started designing, but the design gets weird every time I zoom to it. So I did not understand what was wrong, and because I'm very used to the CorelDRAW, I finally fell back to CorelDRAW, discouraged because of the blurriness of the designs. But I didn't know that it was just to set it to 300 that will solve the whole issue. So it's good you leave it at 200 or 300, not less than 200. Okay, not less than 200. 150 is just like you are like on a time bomb. You may not like the design and you could just explode and leave Photoshop. So, but please, 200, 300 is fine. And so let's continue. Color mode. For now, let's just leave it at RGB color mode. Maybe in later classes, I can tell us why we need to change to other colors. All right, so we'll create, and that's it. So Photoshop, here's Photoshop 2022, and it's open. The interface is looking very scary now to some persons. Okay, for some persons, like, there's nothing here, Of course, there's nothing here. We just need to break it down for everyone. First of all, one thing about Photoshop is that all the interface, everything you see on the interface, everything you see can be reconfigured, meaning we can reposition them. We can change them change what we see, remove what we don't like to see, and put what we like to see. Okay, the most needful thing is that we definitely want to see the work area. Okay, the work area is this place where you have all the objects that we're going to be using in design appear. Okay, so this place is needful, so we'll leave it. Okay, but all other things we can change them. But let's just first of all look from the top first. From the top we have the menus, the file menu, edit menu, image menu. These menus have many commands in them. We don't want to go into them now, but just know that they have many commands in them. Okay, the next menu here, or which is also a panel, is like the property panel to the tools and all the commands that we could possibly give when we select a tool. You could select a tool like the object selection tool, and the property here changes because we selected a tool. You see, so we can select the move tool and it changes back to what we were created before. Okay, so it's like the property to every tool we select. Just see it that way. The next panel, let's take it from the left now, is the tool panel. Okay, we just used one tool now where you get to select the tool, but we're not going to learn about the tools today, so let's just stick to knowing that that's the tools we can possibly have in Photoshop. Okay, now let me come down to this place. I'm going to skip this place for a reason. I'm coming back, but for here now, this is the work area, and this is like a tab. Okay, you can create more tabs. If you've used Google Chrome before, you have tabs. You could be browsing, opening your email in one tab, checking something on Google on the other tab, opening anything at all on the other tab. So that's how it is here. You can just create a new document here, select a different paper size, give it a file name if you like, create, and you have another tab. So meaning you can have something here. Let's just put an object here, so differentiate. Okay, so we can have it here under this place. We didn't give it a name, so it's untitled. Then we can have nothing here, of course. So just for you to know that we can have plenty tabs. When we're working in Photoshop, we can have number of tabs open, even up to 10, 20 tabs, just depend on, just for one design sometimes. Okay, so that's the tab. So now to the areas where I skipped, which is this. Now, something about Photoshop is that everything here are like panels. We get to move them away from that position and put them to another position, perhaps for ease of use and all that. So there are just few ones that are important for this basic class, and they are just let me say 3 for now. 3. Okay, the layer panel, the property panel, and the swatches panel. Okay, swatches panel contains your color. The property panel contains the properties of the object we selected. Previously I said when you select it to, the properties appear here, but when you create an object, the properties appear here. Okay, but in your own Photoshop you might not see the property panel, and you may not see the layer panel, and you may not see the swatches panel. So what do? All panels in Photoshop are arrayed here, so you get to choose the panels you want and select them, and they show up. For instance, the patterns panel, I select it, and that's it there. I previously fixed it there, so I have all the panels to use there. So these 3 panels for basic class, just activate them. You can go to Windows and select the swatches panel. Okay, let me just select swatches panel. It's selected. Oh, it's out. Let me go select it now, and it's on. It's back there. Okay, we can easily move them. That's what I'm trying to do. Like the properties panel, you can move it away, and you can see you can move about. You can come and put it here. You see, and you can share the same space with the layer panel. You can also remove it and put it back to where it was. Yeah, I like it there. Prefer it there. Okay, and you can have the layer panel from top to bottom that way. In fact, this is my own configuration, so you may not even see your own like this, but if perhaps in the course of this class you can arrange it just to look like mine, so that we can flow together. So that is that. Okay, so one thing I wanted to talk about was the artboard. So let's go back to the practice class. You see here we set artboard, but here we didn't set artboard. Remember, we were just in a hurry, so we clicked new and we created a document, but we didn't check the artboard. So that was what happened. So here we didn't have artboard, and here we had artboard. What does artboard mean? Okay, if you hold down on your tool or your move tool, you will have other tools. By the way, all these tools with small arrows at the end here shows that there are more tools inside. So the move tool rather has the artboard tool there. So if we select the artboard tool, it means with the artboard tool we can get to create another artboard. Another artboard is like another canvas area where we can work on. So it means we can create an object and put it here, and put another object here, and they can just be in separate layers. Okay, you can see it here on the layer. This is this. Okay, we'll come to class for the layers, but just for now, just know that this is artboards. And the reason why we are able to create 2 artboards like this is because when we are creating new document, we checked artboard. But if you didn't check artboard, you will never get to see artboard written on top here. And with your artboard tool, you can also create it. In case you forgot, you can just come back, click and drag over with the artboard tool. Make sure, oh, that's not the artboard tool. Damn. So I select the artboard tool and click and drag over, and that's it. So created artboard. So you see, so that's how you can maneuver it. All right. So that is it for the interface. So the properties, when you select an object, the properties shows. When you select a tool, the property shows over here, and so you don't get to be scared, because if you know about the tool, you could definitely know about the properties, and that's what we're going to see in later classes. But for today, this is going to be the end of this class, the interface. If you feel I left anything out, you can please comment. Maybe in the next class I could talk about it. But for now, thank you very much for being part of this Photoshop Basics. and I hope to see you in the next class. Thank you. Please subscribe and make sure you hit the bell icon so that you know whenever I post a new tutorial. Thank you very much. Peace.